Hey there, comic book enthusiasts. Ever wondered what would happen if two of nature's most powerful protectors went head-to-head in an epic showdown? Today, we're exploring the fascinating worlds of Groot from Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy and DC's Swamp Thing. Both are incredible beings connected deeply with nature, but who would come out on top if they ever clashed? In this video, we'll dive into their origins, uncover their unique powers and abilities, and imagine a hypothetical battle between these two green giants. We'll see what makes Groot the lovable Flora Colossus we all adore, and discover the mysteries behind Swamp Thing, the enigmatic avatar of the green. Groot, the Flora Colossus from Planet X. First up, let's talk about everyone's favorite sentient tree, Groot. He made his debut in Tales to Astonish number 13 back in 1960. Originally introduced as an extraterrestrial monster, Groot was a far cry from the gentle giant we know today. But over the years, he evolved into a hero with a heart as big as his branches. Groot hails from Planet X, home to the Flora Colossi, a race of tree-like beings known for their strength and regenerative abilities. Despite their imposing appearance, the Flora Colossi are a noble species with a rich culture. Groot stood out from his peers due to his curiosity and compassion towards other life forms, especially mammals, which was unusual for his kind. His journey took a turn when he met Rocket Raccoon, and together they became an inseparable duo of misfits. Joining forces with Star-Lord, Gamora, and Drax, they formed the Guardians of the Galaxy, saving the universe from one crisis after another. Powers and abilities. Groot isn't just a tall drink of water. He's packed with incredible powers. His superhuman strength allows him to go toe-to-toe with some of the toughest opponents. Whether it's lifting massive objects or smashing through barriers, Groot's physical prowess is nothing to sneeze at. One of his most remarkable abilities is regeneration. Cut him down and he'll sprout right back up. This makes him incredibly resilient in battles, as long as even a small part of him remains intact. He can also manipulate his body, extending his limbs to great lengths, forming shields, or even growing flowers and lights, a handy trick for both combat and entertaining his friends. Groot can control plant life to some extent, especially when it comes to integrating with his own form. He's even been shown to absorb wood to increase his mass and strength. And let's not forget his iconic phrase, "I am Groot." Key moments. Groot has had several standout moments, both in comics and on the big screen. One unforgettable scene is when he sacrifices himself to save the Guardians during a spaceship crash. Enveloping his friends in a protective cocoon made from his own body, he utters, "We are Groot," showing his deep connection to his team. After regenerating as the adorable baby Groot, he brought a whole new level of charm and humor to the team dynamics. From his dance moves to his mischievous antics, Groot continues to capture the hearts of fans worldwide. Swamp Thing, the avatar of the green. Now let's wade into the mysterious world of Swamp Thing. Introduced in House of Secrets number 92 in 1971 by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson, Swamp Thing began as Alec Holland, a brilliant biochemist working on a formula to solve world hunger by accelerating plant growth. Tragically, Alec's lab was sabotaged with a bomb. Covered in his bio-restorative formula and engulfed in flames, he plunged into the swamp. Rather than perishing, he was transformed by the forces of nature into Swamp Thing, a being made of plant matter, connected to all plant life on Earth through a mystical force known as the Green. Swamp Thing became the guardian of the green, tasked with protecting nature from threats and maintaining the balance between humanity and the natural world. His stories often delve into themes of identity, humanity, and the environment. Powers and abilities. Swamp Thing's abilities are as vast as the forests themselves. He has total control over plant life, able to manipulate it on a global scale. He can grow vines, command trees, and even create entire ecosystems. His mastery over the green allows him to sense changes in the environment. His regenerative powers are virtually limitless. Destroy his body, and he can regrow it anywhere plant life exists, even in the most barren deserts, as long as there's a single spore or seed. This makes him incredibly hard to kill. Swamp Thing can also alter his size and shape, towering over foes or blending into the environment. His connection to the elements sometimes extends beyond plants, giving him abilities related to water and earth manipulation. He's not just a brute force. Alec Holland's intellect remains, making him a keen strategist and scientist. Key moments. One of the most significant periods in Swamp Thing's history is Alan Moore's run in the 1980s. Moore redefined the character, exploring deep philosophical questions about what it means to be human. Is Swamp Thing Alec Holland transformed, or a plant that thinks it's Alec Holland? Swamp Thing has encountered many of DC's heroes and anti-heroes, including Batman, Superman, and John Constantine. His interactions often highlight the tension between humanity's progress and the preservation of nature. Swamp Thing's influence isn't limited to comics. He has appeared in movies and TV series, bringing his eerie presence and environmental messages to a broader audience. His stories encourage us to reflect on our relationship with the natural world. Comparative analysis. Now that we've gotten to know Groot and Swamp Thing, it's time to see how these two stack up against each other. Let's break it down category by category. Physical strength and durability. Both Groot and Swamp Thing are powerhouses when it comes to strength. Groot's been seen lifting massive weights and taking down foes much larger than himself. His wooden form provides natural armor. Swamp Thing's strength is more variable. Tied to the green, he can augment his physical form as needed, sometimes growing to colossal sizes. His body is made of plant matter, which he can reinforce for added durability. Regeneration and immortality. When it comes to healing, both have impressive abilities. Groot regenerates from damage, but if he's shattered completely, he needs time to regrow from a twig, a process that takes time. Swamp Thing's regeneration is almost instantaneous. Destroy his body, and he can reconstitute it anywhere there's plant life. This effectively makes him immortal and omnipresent on Earth, as long as the green exists. Control over plant life. Groot can manipulate his own form extensively, stretching his limbs, forming protective barriers and creating weapons. He's also demonstrated limited control over external plant life. Swamp Thing's control over plant life is vast. He can manipulate flora on a planetary scale, rapidly growing plants, controlling ecosystems, and even creating plant-based clones of himself. Intelligence and communication. While Groot's limited to saying, "I am Groot," those close to him understand the nuances behind each utterance. He's intelligent and perceptive, but communication can be a hurdle. Swamp Thing retains Alec Holland's intellect, making him highly intelligent and knowledgeable in science. He can strategize, reason, and articulate complex ideas, offering him an advantage. Weaknesses. Groot's vulnerabilities include extreme heat and fire, which can damage his wooden form severely. Additionally, when regenerating from a sapling, he's much weaker and susceptible to harm. Swamp Thing's primary weakness is his dependency on the green. If someone could sever his connection or corrupt the green itself, he would be significantly weakened or incapacitated. Battle tactics. In a fight, Groot tends to rely on brute strength and direct confrontation. He's fearless and willing to sacrifice himself for his friends, his nature being unpredictable. Swamp Thing is more likely to use the environment to his advantage, setting traps or overwhelming foes with hordes of plant life. He's strategic and might avoid direct combat unless necessary. Overall comparison. While Groot is a formidable warrior with a heart of gold, Swamp Thing operates on a higher plane of existence. His elemental status and global influence over plant life give him advantages. In essence, Swamp Thing might have the upper hand in terms of abilities and scale, but Groot's resilience and unpredictability keep the contest interesting. After all, battles aren't won by powers alone. Hypothetical battle scenario. Picture this: the Guardians of the Galaxy land on a secluded part of Earth, perhaps tracking a cosmic anomaly or seeking a rare resource to save a planet. Unbeknownst to them, their activities disturb the natural balance, catching the attention of Swamp Thing. As the Guardians set up their equipment, the ground beneath them begins to shift. Vines and roots coil around their ship, and the forest seems to come alive. Swamp Thing emerges, towering above them, demanding they leave immediately. Miscommunication ensues, and before they can explain, Groot steps forward to protect his friends. Swamp Thing, not understanding Groot's intentions, sees this as aggression. He summons the full might of the forest, with trees bending and branches lashing out. Groot matches the attack by extending his limbs, creating a barrier to shield his companions. The two titans engage in a fierce battle. Groot attempts to entangle Swamp Thing with his branches, but Swamp Thing dissolves into the ground, re-emerging behind Groot. He ensnares Groot with roots and tries to immobilize him. Groot responds by absorbing nearby wood, increasing his mass and breaking free with sheer strength. Possible outcomes. Groot gains the upper hand. Groot taps into a hidden reserve of power, perhaps fueled by his desire to protect his friends. He unleashes a barrage of attacks that catch Swamp Thing off guard. Swamp Thing prevails. Recognizing that physical force isn't enough, Swamp Thing taps deeper into the green. He summons the collective strength of Earth's entire plant life, overwhelming Groot. Resolution through understanding. Before the battle escalates further, communication is established, perhaps through Mantis's empathic abilities or a universal translator. The misunderstanding is cleared up. They agree to collaborate, with Swamp Thing aiding the Guardians in their mission. In the end, the conflict turns into a powerful alliance, showcasing that even the greatest differences can be bridged. Final thoughts. So after all that, who would win in a battle between Groot and Swamp Thing? It's a tough call. Swamp Thing's vast powers and deep connection to the green give him a significant advantage. However, Groot's strength, regenerative abilities, and unyielding spirit make him a formidable opponent. His unpredictability and the potential support from the Guardians could level the playing field. In the end, the real victory might not come from defeating one another, but from understanding and collaboration. Both characters embody the protection of life and nature. Engage the audience. But hey, that's just one perspective. We'd love to hear what you think. Who do you believe would emerge victorious in this clash of nature's champions? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Call to action. If you enjoyed this exploration of Groot and Swamp Thing, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more epic superhero showdowns. Have a suggestion for our next versus battle? Drop your ideas in the comments. We might feature your matchup in our next video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep embracing the power of imagination.